A Disabled Person Reviews Disabled Meteor, Part 117, Shadow and Bone. I've reviewed the character of Kaz before when I reviewed Six of Crows, but books and TV shows are different beasts, so why not rave about how wonderful he is a second time in this series? Now, the character uses a cane and has severe sensory issues as a result of trauma, and in adapting a book to screen, you're not able to get as much of the inner thoughts of characters as you can in the text, even if you use a lot of voiceover, but the show really didn't do that at all, which is a great narrative choice. And I was a bit worried that this might flatten this character a bit because he carries a lot of nuance of being a very hurt and complicated guy underneath a firm facade of flat affect and seeming lack of care. But I felt that they did a really impressive job of making you both intrigued by and feel warmth from him while also occasionally thinking about how punchable his face is, which is a vibe that is very hard to pull off successfully. It felt more in seeing him that he's less of a prick and more just focused on his mission and will not be distracted from it than it did in the books, which I quite liked. I should note that as far as we know, the actor who played the role is at least physically non-disabled, but the disabled author has backed this casting choice and was involved in it to some degree, and Freddie Carter clearly put a lot of care and effort into using the cane authentically and properly. It was never like over or under emphasized, just given equal weight as the tool that it is while acknowledging the visual effect that can have artistically. It's complicated, I have complicated thoughts, but his performance was excellent and felt like the definitive Kaz Brekker to me. Also, on a separate disability note, the narrative of Kirigan slowly physically falling apart after creating the shadow monsters by developing chronic migraines and a cough is something that I would normally point out as an issue, in that using a disability as punishment for something is a narrative problem, but while thinking about that, I started to wonder in what way, other than mimicking chronic illness, can one narratively show somebody's slow death, which I think points to the complications that come with the ideals of representation versus the actual logistics of representation, a gray area that I often find myself defending and working in when I do media work. Also, there's lots of war injuries, and I felt they were handled perfectly neutrally, which I appreciated. Overall, this IP is always crushing it when it comes to disability, and also it's just fantastic, and they should have gotten a season 3.